So, Riley, how was the first day of school?
Fine, I guess.
Did you guys pick up on that?
Sure did.
Something's wrong.
Signal the husband.
Uh-oh, she's looking at us. What did she say?
Oh, sorry, sir. No one was listening.
Is it garbage night? We left the toilet seat up. What is it, woman? What?
I'm joy. This is sadness. That's anger.
What?
This is disgust. And that's fear. We're Riley's emotions. These are Riley's memories. They're mostly happy, you'll notice, not to brag.
I wanted to maybe hold one.
What happened? Sadness?
She did something to the memory.
Is everything okay?
I don't know.
Take it back, Joy.
Trying.
Joy, no,
Let
wait.
it go.
The core memories.
Can I say that curse word now?
What do we do now?
Nothing's working. Why isn't it working?
We have a major problem.
Oh, I wish Joy was here.
We can fix this. We just have to get back to headquarters.
That's long-term memory. You could get lost in there.
Think positive.
Okay, I'm positive you will get lost in there.
What was that? Was it a bear?
There are no bears in San Francisco.
I saw a really hairy guy. He looked like a bear.
This place is huge. Imagination Land? No way. Dream Productions? Rainbow Unicorn? She's right there. I loved you in Fairy Dream Adventure Part 7. Okay, bye. I love you. They can't focus on what's going wrong. There's always a way to turn things around. It's broccoli.
Congratulations, San Francisco. You've ruined pizza. Who's the birthday girl? Brain freeze!
Hang on. Riley, here we come.
When we look at Olympic sport, sport at the highest level, there are clearly some athletes who always seem to get it right. For example, Usain Bolt, Olympic 100 meter, 200 meter champion, twice over in the 2008 Beijing Olympics and in the London Olympics. Michael Phelps, the most bemedaled Olympian of all time. These are athletes who clearly get it right, both psychologically and physiologically all of the time. It's also interesting to note that they have contrasting approaches. Usain Bolt, with all his comedy antics prior to his event when he's on the start line, we've all seen this. Okay? Michael Phelps, however, a much different approach. He sits down, he's listening to music, he has a much more cerebral, contemplative approach towards his event, but it's both very effective. Sports psychology may play a part in their preparation for their events, and may be a reason why they're successful. What happens when things go wrong? Here's another example. In the 2012 Olympics in London, in the soccer final, there were two finalists, Brazil and Mexico. Brazil were the undoubted favorites. They were expected to win. They were the reigning Olympic champions. They were extremely skilled. On paper, they were the best team. Mexico had made it to the final playing well, but they were unfancied. In the final, Mexico went at Brazil in an incredible display of attacking football. It was incredibly impressive to watch. And if you watch the Brazil players, their heads dropped. They seemed slightly defeated. They couldn't understand why they weren't performing as well as they were. Perhaps they were complacent. Perhaps they had expected too much. Perhaps they were overconfident. The Mexicans had nothing to lose. They attacked with fervor, and they won the Olympic title. They were the Olympic champions over the fancied favorites. Perhaps sports psychology can explain why fancied champions may be overconfident and may fail when they're expected to win, and perhaps why underdogs take on the best and win despite all the odds. Take another example, James Magnussen, a man with seemingly unshakable self-confidence. He said he was going to win the 100 meters sprint final in the pool at the London Olympics. He was extremely confident. But in that race, he was out-touched on the line by Nathan Adrian by 1/100th of a second. And that was devastating for him. You could see his body language after. He was destroyed. Perhaps he was overconfident. Perhaps, though, his confidence in the events leading up to the actual final, perhaps his confidence belied an underlying low confidence. Perhaps he wasn't very confident inside when he should have been supremely confident of his abilities because he was the world leader in the event. So perhaps psychology may have played a part, but in particular, it may help when overcoming such a devastating defeat for the next event. Another very good example, Rory McIlroy in the 2011 Augusta Masters. He was expected to win. He was amongst the favorites, certainly, and he's an extremely talented golfer. In fact, he's the one player that all of the people on the tour, all of the golfers on the tour, the PGA Tour, fear the most. And yet, on the day when he was leading, on the final day of the event, he was leading by 4 shots. He played superbly on the previous 3 days. He experienced a catastrophic drop in his performance. He shot a round of 80, and this is something that professional golfers can do in their sleep, certainly very easily, because they frequently shoot rounds of 70 or below, and that's a good shot. So 80 was a catastrophic failure, and he ended up tying for 15th place. So you'd think that sort of devastating performance may have impacted on his mind. However, only 8 weeks later, he won the US Open, and there was no sign of the lack of confidence and the fact that the pressure had got to him that was displayed when he was in Augusta. So it seemed that he picked up the pieces. And what is it that made him do so? Sports psychology may indeed have the answers. So